Hey, what's up, nerds and nerdettes? Welcome back to another episode of the Geek Master, where we love all things geek more than I would love to be a gray Jedi with mastery over both sides of the Force. As usual, I'm your large pepperoni pizza loving host, Cassius Samuels, and I figured with Star Wars Rebels wrapping up Season 2 a month or so ago, I would look forward to Season 3 by putting together a fanboy face-off that I hope helps settle the debate of who would win a battle between Darth Maul and Darth Vader if they ever happen to clash lightsaber blades. Having said that, before we get started, please remember that this is just my opinion and that you are more than welcome to disagree. I also want to apologize up front because this video is probably going to be one of the longer ones I'll put out that's closer to 15 minutes or so, because this face-off is one of those situations where there is a lot of information that has to be disseminated on top of a ton of good arguments that come on both sides. So that takes time to explain through a YouTube video, if you can just bear with me. So if you have to take a break and come back or whatever to listen, it's all good. I'm not mad at you, I understand. I'm going to try to speed through this though as quickly as I can, just so I can try to condense it to be as short as possible. So like I said, please bear with me. So, jumping right into it, this face-off will be broken down into the usual 5-category format, with today's categories being origin, force feats, lightsaber duels, head-to-head advantages, and most notable moments in canon. Some of these categories will overlap with each other, as some of the evidence presented for each argument can be used in multiple categories. But in the end, don't worry, I will still crown a winner that I can base on a fair analysis as much as I can. So, now that all the introduction shit is out of the way, let's get to it. So, jumping right in, let's start with the origins, and let's go ahead and get Darth Vader out of the way since he is the most iconic Sith Lord of the two. As we all know by now, Darth Vader started out as Anakin Skywalker, born as a slave on Tatooine. He got recruited by the Jedi, joined the Jedi Order, was hailed as the chosen one of a Jedi prophecy since he was conceived without a father and believed to be a child of the Force. He was believed to bring balance to the Force. Later on, he grew up, became a heroic Jedi, became a general in the Clone Wars, took on an apprentice of his own. Later on, was seduced by the dark side, helped wipe out the Jedi Order, and went on to help the Emperor rule the galaxy with an iron fist. Moving on to Darth Maul's origin, who doesn't have such a mystically inspired origin as his opponent, but still does have a fascinating beginning if you are a fan. Darth Maul was one of 3 sons born to Mother Talzin, the queen of the Night Sisters on the planet Dathomir. For those of you who don't know, the Night Sisters are they are a clan of dark side users capable of performing arcane dark side magic arts by tapping into the dark side energies that flow from the depths of Dathomir. Asajj Ventress is also from the Night Sister clan as well. When Maul was a child, Mother Talzin became an ally of Darth Sidious, and the two exchanged wisdom and power. However, Sidious eventually abandoned Talzin, despite promising to make her his apprentice, and instead took Maul once he realized the boy's potential in the Force. Once under Sidious's tutelage, Maul began training him as his Sith apprentice. From there, Sidious shaped Maul into a weapon of the Sith that carried out all of his dark plans that led up to the invasion of Naboo, which initiated the final phase of a long-standing plot by the Sith Order to destroy the Jedi Order and take over the galaxy. So when it comes to origins, I feel like Vader wins this round because it's easy to get caught up in the overall mystic messiah element of his background. It's full of ambiguity and mystery, gives you feelings of ambivalence, and it really sucks you in and gets your mind going. I really don't think there's anything special about Maul's origins. I like the whole son of Dathomir thing, being trained by Sidious from childhood, but other than that, he really doesn't have that much going for him, so I give Vader the edge in this category. Ding ding ding, moving on to round 2, our next category. What would this face-off be without comparing force feats? Feats are generally the most cited pieces of evidence in all these types of face-off debates, so you know I had to compare and contrast a quick list of feats that should help determine a winner for today's face-off. But just remember, if I leave a couple of feats off here or there, don't flip out, this is all opinion based anyway, so if you think I forgot something, go ahead and let me know in the comments. Starting with Darth Maul for this round, since I think there aren't really that many people outside of the hardcore Star Wars fan base that even know Darth Maul survived his battle with Obi-Wan Kenobi at the end of Episode 1 on The Phantom Menace, which I think is a feat in itself considering Maul didn't get saved by his master Darth Sidious like his later apprentice Anakin did. He survived his injuries purely because he was focused on his hatred for Obi-Wan Kenobi. And since that explanation is a little too vague to wrap your hand around, I understand, allow me to give you a quick detailed canonical explanation. Basically, Darth Maul survived being cut in half and falling down a reactor core tunnel because if you know how a lightsaber works, you know it cauterizes any wound it inflicts, so that's why he didn't bleed out. As for answering the second question about the survival of his actual fall, he basically used the Force, fueled by his hate for Obi-Wan, to grab onto an air vent, save himself from a deadly fall, pull himself to safety. That's just a quick explanation. It's not very detailed, but it is verifiable if you go to StarWars.com if you want to fact check me. Granted, there's a whole gang of other shit that happened to get him from there to where we pick up with him when he resurfaces in the Clone Wars series, but none of that is important for this category. I'm just focusing on the act of surviving such a crippling defeat, which he only survived by using his power in the dark side. But outside of that, I don't think there are a whole lot of citable feats for Maul in this category that could rival Darth Vader. I mean, yeah, I know Maul was able to use the Force to bring down a building at one point. He also used the Force push to blow away whole squadrons of soldiers with the help of his brother Savage. He also used the Force to crush someone's heart at one point as well. He survived one-on-one Force training with Sidious, but because he was trained to be a Sith assassin and not a true Sith Lord, he never learned upper-level abilities like Force Lightning and all that other good shit. So it kind of limits him in this category. You put that together with the fact that Vader has such an extensive list of Force-related feats as a Sith and a former Jedi, it's hard not to see Maul getting dwarfed, because Vader has obvious shit as Anakin and Vader, like in the Mortis Monolith story arc in the Clone Wars, where Anakin single-handedly tamed and subdued two Force entities of great power that separately represented the light and dark sides of the Force by himself. Not only that, as Anakin and Vader, he was able to pull off miraculous feats using the Force to increase his strength, his speed, his stamina, his fighting, all that. He was able to use the Force to see the future through precognition, use telepathy, perfect the lightsaber throw, tear apart Imperial walkers. He has superior mastery of telekinesis that was unrivaled. So I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say Vader pretty much washes Maul out in this round, considering there are many more examples that won't get brought up here because of time constraints. So that's 2-zip in favor of Vader going into round 3 of our Fanboy face-off. And that brings us to round 3, Lightsaber Duels. I feel like Lightsaber Duels are one of the most crucial parts of comparison in this Fanboy face-off because it directly correlates to each contestant's ability to win in an all-out face-off against each other. What better way to determine the probability for victory than to use their past victories and defeats as a measuring tool? So I'm just going to run through each combatant's list of notable lightsaber duels, and at the end, I will explain who I think won this round. When it comes to Darth Maul, off the top, don't forget that before Maul was bisected by Obi-Wan, he defeated Obi-Wan's master Qui-Gon Jinn with a pretty significant kill. After that duel, he eventually faced off again with Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars animated series, and won decisively the first time, even though Obi-Wan was able to escape. The second time they met up, it was a draw. From there, Maul battled Grievous and Dooku to stalemates both separately and at the same time, during the Son of Dathomir comic arc, which still remains canon. In the same comic, Maul also battled Mace Windu and survived as well, with everyone knowing that Mace Windu is one of the dopest Jedi Masters of his era, so that's got to be a point on his resume. After that, Maul faced off with Darth Sidious himself while assisted by his brother Savage Opress, and he faced him one-on-one and was able to hold his own even though he was destroyed. And as if that list wasn't long enough, he also killed 3 Inquisitors in one episode of Star Wars Rebels. Moving on to Darth Vader, who also has a nice list of notable duels as both Anakin and Vader. In canon, you have the loss to Dooku, that cost him his arm, who was an apprentice of Sidious. He eventually avenged that victory or that loss with a victory kill later on. You got a couple one-on-one duels with Ventress, whom he never defeated in the Clone Wars saga. Then he fought Obi-Wan on Mustafar and got left for dead. Then he fought Kanan as Darth Vader in an episode of Rebels, whom he didn't kill but scared the shit out of. He fought Ahsoka, his apprentice, to what appears to be a draw. Then after that, he had a string of insignificant battles until he eventually battles and beats Luke the first time they meet, only to lose to him again, or for the first time in the very next duel following that victory. In the end, I really truly honestly had to debate with myself in this round, because I love both these characters. But even though Vader's the most popular character in this instance, I have to give Darth Maul the slightest edge in this round. And I do mean it's a minuscule edge, because it could probably be the perforated line that separates pieces of toilet paper when you pull it off the roll. But nonetheless, I think that's all it takes to win in the Fanboy face-off. I mean, Maul lost to Obi, Vader lost to Obi, Maul beat Obi but didn't kill him, and Vader beat him by killing him. The only problem with Vader's kill against Obi is that I felt like Obi-Wan sacrificed himself, and that's not the same thing as a defeat in my eyes. Darth Maul battled Dooku and Grievous to stalemate, while Anakin killed Dooku and Obi-Wan killed Grievous. To be sure, the two of them have a lot in common, talking about Darth Maul and Darth Vader, when it comes to lightsaber combat opponents, but for me, Maul wins this round because he has the less glaring defeats and more signature victories between the two. I mean, Maul lost to Obi-Wan and lost half his body, granted, but Anakin lost to Dooku, lost a hand, then battled Obi-Wan, lost half, like 3/4 of his body. Flip it around, Darth Maul actually defeated Obi-Wan in saber combat while he was still in his prime, talking about Obi-Wan, and then Vader needed a sacrificial suicide on behalf of Obi-Wan to get his win. The fact Maul not only battled Mace Windu and survived, but also killed 3 Inquisitors who are probably trained by Vader and the Emperor inside of one episode of Star Wars Rebels, for me is enough to give Maul the win in this round for Lightsaber Duels. Going into the 4th round, with a score of 2-1 in favor of Darth Vader, aka Anakin Skywalker, we come to head-to-head advantages, which is a fanboy face-off category that I think is 100% absolutely necessary in determining a winner in this face-off. On Maul's side, he has acrobatics, stealth, cunning, and he's adept to using his anger and hatred through the Force to achieve victory. I think head-to-head with Vader, he would also be quicker in melee combat due to the fact that Vader is mostly a cyborg with a larger frame and heavier weight that makes him unable to maneuver with the same efficiency that Force-enhanced organic movement can achieve. Put that together with the fact that Maul also wields a dual-sided lightsaber, I think that he presents a serious combative threat for Darth Vader. In fact, for me, it's because of these advantages, such as acrobats and stealth and all that Maul has over Vader. I believe Vader would have to heavily rely on his raw strength in the Force to defeat Maul if he was going to do so. This is basically the only area of a head-to-head comparison that I would give Vader the edge in, considering that Vader is probably 10 times stronger than Maul in terms of ability to use the Force. If Darth Maul is strong enough to use the Force to lift and throw an Escalade through the air, then imagine Vader is easily strong enough to lift and throw a small building. Get what I'm saying? So for me, if it came down to a lightsaber duel, I think Maul has the serious advantage. But if it came down to a battle that required brute power through the Force, I think Maul would surely meet his demise. But since this is a face-off and I refuse to let a round end in a draw, I will say that Maul wins this round with the slightest edge, because I believe a true face-off always comes down to an all-out duel of lightsabers in the end, which leaves little room for brute force tactics to prevail when faced with a formidable opponent who can exploit key advantages of their own at the same time. So it's a close one, but I give it to Maul. Coming into the last round, we have an even score of 2-2 as we finally arrive at the category of most notable moments in the Star Wars canon that is not a lightsaber duel or force feat. On the side of Vader, you have the fact that he destroyed a droid command ship in the Phantom Menace as a 6 to 8 year old boy, and he was instrumental in Order 66 as he led the assault on the Jedi Temple and slaughtered countless younglings. He also led several campaigns for the Empire against the Rebel Alliance that cost billions of people their lives, like when he sat courtside to watch the destruction of Alderaan. And he's such a cold-blooded motherfucker that he somehow got a piece of Alderaan's remains and used it as an example in negotiation with other planets to let them know he wasn't fucking around. He also built up his own secret droid army. In Vader Down, he was shot down by Luke Skywalker and stranded on a rebel-controlled planet, but still managed to slaughter everyone in his path and escape unharmed. On the flip side, he also allowed the Force to be thrown out of balance when he let the brother kill the father inside the Mortis monolith, but in the end he restored balance by killing the Emperor. When it comes to Maul, while I think he has a nice list of achievements that make him a fun character, I don't think he can compare to Vader in this category. Sure, Maul survived Obi-Wan's death strike, came back from the depths of insanity, used a bunch of pirates to take over the Hutt's criminal organization, murdered the leader of Mandalore and took over the Mandalorians, who are basically like the Super Saiyan Spartans of the Star Wars universe. Then he built the Shadow Collective, killed Obi-Wan Kenobi's girlfriend right in front of him, then took on Darth Sidious one-on-one with notable skill and survived, albeit only because Palpatine allowed him to, but still, that's more than Vader can say, right? So in the end, it looks like Darth Vader wins with a slim score of 3-2. That could honestly go either way depending on how you debate your position. Sorry it took so long to get all this out, but I wanted to make sure this face-off got the time and effort that it deserved, so both combatants got the justice that they were entitled to. With that being said, let me know what you guys think about the outcome in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and if you got a minute, hook a brother up and share the video with your friends on all your social media. I'll see you beautiful rays of sunshine later, and I'm out. Peace.